Tonight on News Hour, youths protest killing of district head as bandits release video of Niger women in captivity. Nigerian Bar Association protests alleged unlawful detention of member in Ibadan. Chief Justice of Nigeria Ariwoola Bows Out cites Supreme Court's overburdened caseload. And on the international scene, death toll rises to at least 29 in Democratic Republic of Congo boat accident. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Sumaya Abubakar. And now the details. Now, reactions have continued to trail the tragic killing of the Sarkin Gobir of Gatawa district in Sokoto State, Isa Muhammad Bawa. While funeral prayers were observed for the late traditional leader in absentia, according to the Islamic rites, a protest, however, erupted in Sabon Birni local government area of the state as youths of the Gatawa community continued to express their anger over the unfortunate incident. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
That was the mood in Sabon Birni local government area of Sokoto State as angry youth protested the gruesome killing of the Sarkin Gobir of Gatawa district. Video footage of the late traditional ruler released by his abductors surfaced on social media platforms in the past few days, demanding for help. Although he was killed over unpaid ransom, the terrorist, however, received a 60 million naira ransom to release Kabiru, the son of the late traditional ruler. Speaking to Trust TV, a former governor of Sokoto State and senator representing Sokoto North Senatorial District at the National Assembly, Ali Wamako urged security operatives to prioritize intelligence gathering to address the insecurity bedeviling the country.
And all human beings, all human life is precious important, let alone a district head with somebody I know very well, somebody who I will work with his father. I know him very well, and I really felt it was devastating when the news came to me that he was murdered by those by his captors. It's so painful and devastating. But I pray to Allah to grant him good for those, and grant the family the courage to bear the loss. It's so painful, it's so sad indeed. This issue of security is a major problem for the nation. And the government is all are doing the best it can to address those challenges as multifaceted as they are. Because not one, so there are different banditry, armed robbery, kidnapping, all kinds of rubbish. I'm confident that with all of us coming to understanding the dangers and the challenges involved, we must come to work towards a solution together.
In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has condoled with the families of the late traditional ruler, vowing to crush perpetrators of the dastardly act. While condolences pour in, critics argue that these reactions are counterproductive as enough was not done to secure the release of the late traditional ruler. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Moving on from that, kidnappers of the 26 women of Alawa community in Shiroro local government area of Niger State have released a video showing 2 of the women begging their families to bring ransom in order to set them free. In a 30-second video, one of the women whose hands were tied to a tree pleaded with her family to bring the items demanded to enable her return home. Speaking in Hausa language, she called on one of her relations, Abdul Rahman, to help bring the items demanded to set her free. One of the residents, Abba Usman, who confirmed that the women were among the 26 that were kidnapped in February this year, said 6 motorcycles had already been delivered by the family of the 2 women, but their captors had insisted that 4 additional motorcycles must be brought before they are released. He said the families of the remaining 24 women had already informed the bandits that they had no money to buy the number of motorcycles demanded, saying the captors were demanding 5 motorcycles for each of the 26 women, adding that each of the motorcycles cost 2 million naira.
Umar, please talk to Abdurrahman. They have brought me to a service area now. They said they cannot release me until the items they demanded are delivered. They said I should talk so that you will hear my voice. I have injuries on my legs. For the sake of Allah and His Prophet, help bring the items. They said if you bring the items, they will release me along with Hajia. I am here with Hajia.
The Nigerian army has promised to investigate the alleged killing of 3 locals and 100 cattle in Kaduna State by soldiers. Recall that villagers in Sabon Birni Igabi local government area of Kaduna State had accused soldiers of killing 3 persons and over 100 cows during an incident at a local cattle market on Sunday. Reacting to the development on Thursday, in a statement, the Director, Army Public Relations, Major General Onyema Nwachukwu, said the incident will be investigated. According to the statement, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, has directed a thorough investigation into the incident with a view to establish the immediate and remote cases of the incident and unraveling those behind it. The traditional rulers of Urhobo kingdoms are appealing to the federal government to help rebuild Okwama community following its destruction by soldiers who invaded the communities after some of their colleagues were killed. Now, the royal fathers made the appeal when they visited the governor of Delta State in Asaba, the Delta State capital. Trust TV's Jonathan Anwayai reports.
This is what is left of Okwama, a once bubbling fishing community in Delta State, after the killing of military men on a peace mission led to a reprisal attack. After many months of deserting their community in the aftermath of the military storming the community to search for killers of the soldiers, the state government set up an internally displaced persons camp in Ughelli. 5 months down the line, the royal fathers of Urhobo kingdoms want the government to help them rebuild Okwama to enable the indigenes go back to their ancestral homes.
It is obvious that the people will be more relaxed and forget the trauma of the past early when they are on their homeland. The IDP camp is a stopgap arrangement, and it should remain so. We once again reinstate our call to the federal government of Nigeria to assist the Delta State government in rebuilding of the Okwama community.
Delta State Governor Sheriff Uborewuri says it has awarded contracts for the rebuilding of hospitals and schools in the community.
Permanent peace. We did our best as government. We have established the IDP camp at Otoewu, and we also awarded a contract for the health center to be built, the 6 classroom, a primary school and secondary school. That contract has been awarded to indigenes of the Okwama. So we are doing our best.
The people of Okwama have not accessed their community since the incidents occurred on March 14, 2024. Jonathan Anwaya, Trust TV News, Asaba.
Nigerian Bar Association, the NBA Ibadan branch, on Thursday staged a peaceful protest against the arrest of one of its members, Philip Ojo, by the operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, in Ibadan. It was alleged that Ojo was arrested and detained alongside the court bailiff while trying to serve the agency with a court process. The bailiff, according to reports, had been released while Ojo was still in the custody of the EFCC. The FCC action triggered a peaceful protest by the members of the NBA to address an alleged injustice. The FCC official, to douse the build-up tension, sought for a meeting between the representatives of the agency and the lawyers. It was gathered that the detainee was arrested on August 21st, 2024, while carrying out his lawful duty as a legal practitioner, accompanying a court bailiff to serve a court process on the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. According to the NBA Ibadan branch, the EFCC Ibadan Command's action towards lawyers have been a persistent issue.
That we have come here to register our registration and release canister of tear gas. There is no problem about that. Like I have said, the first and the last time I've ever been to your facility was the time I came for a client, and right from the gates, the hostility was so much that I felt that I will never enter this place. I will never, and I will never, even today, even when I'm invited, I'm not going to enter your facility. Whoever that want to address us, come out and address us. Not tear gas. We are here. Not tear gas. Not tear gas. We are here. No, don't worry. Not tear gas now. See that we have come here to register our registration.
Immediate past Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, Justice Olukayode Ariwoola, has advocated the need for measures to be put in place to reduce the burden of the Supreme Court. Justice Ariwoola stated this at a valedictory session in his honor at the Supreme Court in Abuja. The report.
The now retired Chief Justice of Nigeria explained that there are too many cases before the Apex Court, which ought to have terminated at the Appellate Court. He said access to justice has contributed largely to the delay in the hearing of cases, as litigants and lawyers are forced to wait for several years to have their cases decided.
For the past 32 years, I have always had one judgment or ruling pending for me to write. I cannot recall a single time in the last 3 decades when there was no judgment for me to write. I am glad to see my younger brother Ademola Bows Ariwoola seated here now with us this morning. He has been based in the United States since his undergraduate days in the early 80s. Anytime I had traveled to visit him for vacation, his wife would always exclaim that she had never seen someone coming on vacation with records of appeals and briefs of argument for writing judgments. It is for this reason that I believe that emoluments of judicial officers must not be sweated for in or outside the office.
Justice Ariwoola explained that the right to fair hearing can only be guaranteed when lawyers and litigants do not have to wait for so long to have their cases heard.
Now that I am retiring, I believe and I intend to commence reading without the pressure of pending judgments or rulings. One of the novels I had read long time ago was by James Hadley Chase with the title, There is Always a Price Tag. I mentioned above the fact that Court of Appeal justices are nomadic justices by virtue of our frequent postings. What I did not mention then is that that some people are always paying the price for our absence from home. That is our family.
In his remark, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, described Justice Olukayode Ariwoola as an outstanding jurist and a communal personality who prioritizes the needs of other people. He said the present administration under Tinubu remains committed to changing the narrative in the judicial sector and place it as the best in the global community, while other speakers admitted that the former CJN has left an indelible mark on the sands of time, especially in the judiciary sector.
For my Lord Honorable Dr. Olukayode Ariwoola, today marks the end of a most memorable and impactful judicial career, which spanned a period of 32 years, from when he was first appointed as an High Court judge in Oyo State in November 1992. Indeed, his lordship came, saw, and conquered. He has made his mark and left indelible imprints in the annals of the Nigerian judiciary and the legal profession in general.
Honorable Justice Ariwoola was committed to doing substantial justice. My Lord dissected legal issues in cases with the practiced dexterity of a surgeon to get to the real issue in controversy for the purpose of resolving them.
Then President Muhammadu Buhari appointed Ariwoola as acting CJN in June of 2022, following the resignation of Justice Tanko Muhammad on health grounds. Ariwoola was subsequently sworn in October of the same year, following his confirmation by the Senate. Meanwhile, The National Judicial Council (NJC) has recommended Justice Kudirat Kekereekun to President Bola Tinubu for appointment as CJN.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Justice Olukayode Ariwoola as he retires as Chief Justice of Nigeria after a successful public service career. Justice Ariwoola had served as Justice of the Court of Appeal in Kaduna, Enugu and Lagos divisions before his elevation to the Supreme Court in 2011. He was sworn in as Chief Justice of Nigeria in 2022 and had also served the nation in diverse capacities as a judicial officer. A statement by Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, said President Tinubu commended the jurist for his services to the nation, noting his impactful leadership and efforts in enriching Nigerian jurisprudence as well as in strengthening the fiber of the law. According to Ngelale, the president thanked Justice Ariwoola and wished him the very best for the future. The statement says President Tinubu will swear in Justice Ariwoola's successor at the State House Council chambers on August 23, 2024. A River State High Court sitting in Port Harcourt has granted an ex parte order restraining the national leadership of the All Progressive Congress, the APC, from proceeding with the planned River State Ward local government and state congresses scheduled for October 11th, 16th and 26th, 2024. The lawsuit filed by Peter Ohochukwu and Haija Ndidi Chukuma on behalf of themselves and all elected executive members of the APC in the state named the APC, the Inspector General of Police, the IGP, the Nigerian Police and the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, as defendant. Justice Godwin O. Orlaw, in his ruling on the ex parte motion on Thursday, also restrained the defendants, their representatives, officers or agents from conducting, supervising, holding, monitoring or otherwise organizing any elections for the River State Executive Committee. Justice Orlaw emphasized that his ruling was based on the merits of the application and the oral argument presented by the plaintiff's counsel, Collins Dike. The council also barred the national leadership of the APC from attempting to suspend the state executives led by Emeka Beke. Justice Orlaw adjourned the case to September 9th, 2024 for the hearing of the motion on notice. This is News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up, public health concerns grow in Katsina over impact of flooding. This and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. We brought you youths protest the killing of district head as bandits release video of Niger women in captivity. And Nigerian Bar Association protests alleged unlawful detention of members in Ibadan. Now moving on, still on the tragic killing of the Sarkin Gobir of Gatawa district in Sokoto State, Isa Muhammad Bauer, that has garnered reaction from the residents of Sokoto making protest. We have our very own Daily Trust regional editor, Yushao Adamu, that will be joining us via phone call to give an update on the situation. Good evening, Yushao.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So what can you tell us about the scale of the reactions from across Sokoto State after the gruesome death of the traditional leader?
Well, there are mixed reactions regarding to the brutal murder of the district heads. One of the damning reactions was coming from his son, Kabiru Isa, who was abducted alongside his father. You know, he was released yesterday in the night, hours after his father was killed. So in a short video clip that went viral on social media, the guy was saying that one of the bandits has confessed to them that the monarch was abducted on the instruction of a politician in the state. So he said the bandit clearly told them that the politician directed them how to reach to the emir and how to abduct him. And he even told them that if they place a ransom on the emir or the monarch, and if he fails, he himself will give them the money. He even gave them 5 million according to his son. So this is one of the reactions. And remember, some youth have staged a protest in Sabon Birni to express their anger about the recent killing of the monarch. One of the protesting youth was saying that federal government should come in and launch an investigation into the matter, since one of the politicians in the state was fingered to be responsible for the abduction. So they wanted a thorough investigation to the matter so that those behind the killing should not be allowed to go unpunished. They said if this matter is left just like that, nobody knows who will be the next person to be abducted, probably.
Indeed. So what are the security agents saying at this point?
Well, in the evening, the spokesperson of the police was saying that they have deployed some personnel to Sabon Birni to ensure that the residents or the community did not go beyond the provisions of the law in terms of expressing their anger. We have also learned that the personnel of the Operation Hadirin Daji were too deployed to that area. Although they have been going there, but some parts of Sokoto, many communities are also experiencing this kind of insecurity. Areas like Gada, Sabon Birni, and Isa, they are facing serious threats from the bandits. And as everybody knows, we are in a rainy situation, rainy season period. And these bandits are taking advantage of vegetational cover to carry out their heinous acts. They can easily come out from the bush, attack a community, go back to the vegetation cover because they know the terrain more than the security personnel.
I mean, I wanted to ask how volatile, is security situation in the parts of Sokoto when it comes to banditry. But basically, you've given an answer to that. But yes, we all know how insecurity has been bothering, especially the northern parts of the country. And there seems to be a bit of quietness when it comes to, addressing this issue or even hammering on the government to do more. What is your analysis on what is going on in that region?
Well, basically, we cannot say they are not doing their best, but we are facing serious problem when it comes to the issue of manpower, not only in the police or military, but in all the security sectors. The manpower is not enough to handle the situation. So probably that is why some of the affected states opted for establishing on security outfits, such as community protection guards in Zamfara and community guards in Sokoto and the rest of them. So probably we need more manpower so that these security agencies can go right into the bush to reach to the bandits rather than waiting for them at the checkpoints or base for them to come out and maybe strike.
All right, we hope we see positive results. Thank you so much, Yushau Adamu, for joining us.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
And may the soul of the traditional ruler rest in peace. Now, moving on from that story, the Nigerian police force has warned skit makers and others seeking online followership to desist from posting misleading videos on social media platforms, describing it as a time bomb. Delta State Police Public Relations Officer Bright Edafe issued the warning while reacting to a viral video where a young man was alleged to have been shot by police officers in Delta State. Jonathan Awayai reports.
The viral video claims that this young man was shot by the police because he refused giving them money. The alleged victim has however confirmed publicly that he was not shot by the police on stop and search duty, confirming that he was only asked to sit on the ground by the officers for further action.
The officer stopped me on the road. Then I checked me, I not say anything. It's just my machine paper and plate number. It's just the plate number that expired. To bring my bike key, and I respond, and I give it to him. They answered me that they will carry my bike to the station, and I'm begging the officer. So I don't know what's going on there. Actually, I just fall down. My neck just whipped the ground and I faint.
The Delta State Police spokesman says the police will not tolerate any misleading skits or videos meant to incite hatred in the country, as such misleading videos could disrupt the peace in the country.
There's something we have to take very, very seriously. That is the issue of fake news, content creation, the activities of bloggers who are only concerned about creating traffic. At times, they don't care about the authenticity of what they are posting. All they care about is followership and traffic. It is something we have to take very seriously. And I want to refer our mind back to 2020, where a particular issue of fake news led to a story that
He also warned that posters of misleading skits or videos will be tracked down and made to face the long arm of the law.
No other country we can call our own. We must take Nigeria seriously and understand the danger fake news poses. It is a very, very critical issue. Who posted the first video 2020 that led to that protest was eventually arrested and he was charged to court. So I believe this one, we are on the investigation, and I believe just the way God delivered that guy to us, God will also deliver this particular person to us. We're on the street and I believe we'll get him arrested. Thank you.
It has called for the regulation of internet posts in the country to sanitize the country's cyberspace. Jonathan Awanya, Trust TV News, Asaba.
Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara is set to revive the state's Neighborhood Watch, a community-based security outfit set up by the immediate past administration. Governor Fubara spoke on the consideration of reviving the security outfit when he met with its leaders behind closed doors at the Government House in Port Harcourt. Briefing newsmen after the meeting, the head of command, the Rivers State Neighborhood Watch, Wogbo Lawrence, expressed satisfaction with the assurances given by the governor after 6 years of neglect. He explained that despite the lack of remuneration, the security outfit had struggled independently to sustain about 1,150 personnel that it has posted to the 23 local government areas of the state. According to him, despite signing into law the act establishing an agency for the community-based security outfit in March 2018, its full operation suffered setbacks during the last administration as the opposition All Progressive Congress, the APC in the state, alleged that the security architecture was to be used to intimidate its members in the 2019 elections.
The members of Rivers State Neighborhood Watch today, we are overwhelmed with the speeches made by His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State. For years now, these 6 years, the agency has been abandoned. But we, as the members of the Neighborhood Watch, and we are still working. And that is the reason why we came today, to see our governor, to revive the agency, and which Her Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, Sir Siminalayi Fubara, has approved and assured us that he's going to revive the agency in a short time. By the grace of God, we are assisting, doing our best, even when there's nothing in our pocket.
Tension is growing over the possibility of an outbreak of diseases in Natsanta village of Jibia local government area of Katsina State following the heavy downpour that destroyed over 250 houses. Sources of drinking water and toilet facilities were submerged, raising fears that the flood may trigger waterborne diseases such as cholera. Abdullahi Yamadi completes the report.
Natsanta community, with a population of over 10,000 people, lacks sanitation facilities, open wells, which remain the major source of drinking water, are suspected to be polluted. The heavy rainfall, which lasted for over 3 hours, has not only destroyed houses, water sources, and toilet facilities, but also killed several domestic animals and left the affected residents, who are mostly low-income earners, in a great shock. Though no life was lost, several people from the community are still counting losses when Trust TV News crew visited. Our houses have been destroyed, while toilet facilities and water sources were seriously affected. There is need for urgent attention to avert other health crises. Hence, we are appealing to government to hasten efforts in supporting us to rebuild our houses.
The disaster is coming at a time we're struggling to survive the impact of the current economic downturn. We eat tafasa leaf as food. Our house has been destroyed, while open wells and toilet have been destroyed. We now go to the nearby bushes to stool, and open defecation is discouraged. About 15 of us are currently squatting in a single room.
Residents say, though it's a natural disaster, they want the government to come to their aid by supporting them to rebuild their houses without further delay, to allow them have a roof over their heads. The State Emergency Management Agency's boss, Binta Dangani, was also there for on-the-spot assessment of the disaster.
What I have seen here in Nazinta is a very terrible case, but we have gone around to the state, especially in Adua, Mashi, Sandamo, and within Katsina metropolis. There are a lot of houses. I think more than 3,600 houses are affected. But we are here in Nazinta to sympathize with the people, and then we are calling them that they should be extra careful. They should be sanitizing their environment before the government comes in.
The flood disaster came to these residents at a time most of them are struggling to survive the harsh economic realities occasioned by fuel subsidy removal and uncontrolled inflation, coupled with insecurity bedeviling some communities in Jibia local governments and other parts of Katsina State. Hundreds of Nazinta residents have been displaced. As you are aware, over 250 houses have been affected by the flooding. One person sustained injury, while several domestic animals were killed. We are passionately appealing for help. Nazinta, a community neighboring 35 Battalion of the Nigerian Army Katsina on Katsina Jibia Road, is lagging behind in terms of social amenities, with experts calling for urgent attention to prevent the outbreak of cholera and other diseases as a result of poor sanitation. Abdullahi Ismail Amadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
4 women have reportedly drowned in a boat accident that occurred in Taraba State. The incident, which took place on Wednesday evening on the River Benue in Taraba, occurred in the Mayo Renowo area of Ardo Kola Local Government Council. The tragedy is coming barely a year after several people drowned in the same river and River Ibi in Ibi Local Government Council. Trust TV recalls that in October 2023, over 50 people drowned when a boat capsized on the same river while traveling to a neighboring village in Karim Lamido. The latest incident has once again cast a shadow over the community. Sources from the community who spoke with Trust TV confirmed that all the victims of Wednesday's accident were women. The boat carrying over 30 passengers was said to have set out from Mayo Renowo in Ardokola and heading to Belango in Karim Lamido Local Government Council when the mishap occurred. Tears flowed freely from loved ones after a female street sweeper was killed by a hit-and-run driver in Jalingo, the Taraba state capital. The woman, identified as Namis Usman in her early 50s, was hit by an unidentified vehicle on the Jalingo-Yola Expressway on Thursday morning. The widow's body was found lying dead around 6 a.m., according to a family source. A brother to the deceased husband told newsmen that she left home around 5:30 a.m. for her normal street sweeping job, but was unfortunately found lying dead around 6 a.m. He said the incident occurred around Nobis Eye Clinic in Mile 6, Jalingo area of the expressway. When contacted, the spokesperson of Taraba State Police Command, Gambo Kwache, confirmed the accident, saying that further updates will be provided. Ahead of its 25th year anniversary, the National Hospital Abuja is yet to partner with Trust TV or Trust Media Group on public enlightenment. The Chief Medical Director of the hospital, Muhammad Raji, made this known during a visit to the headquarters of Media Trust Group on Thursday. Speaking on medical tourism, Raji said the hospital is working to establish a VIP wing to provide more specialized medical services to discourage medical vacation overseas. The Group Chief Executive Officer, Media Trust Group, Ahmed Shekaro, assured of a robust relationship between the Media Group and the National Hospital for effective service delivery in the health sector.
So it's worrisome, but we are trying to change that tide. Part of the project we want to do is a VIP section, presidential and VIP section. And in that, our aim is to really make it state-of-the-art facility, and then attached to it, the accommodation facilities should be like a 5-star to 7-star hotel. That's why we need to go into a PPP to do that, except if government would find some funding out of the scarce resources it has. But we don't want to overburden government, because we know government is really trying as much as it can to fund so many other things. So it's unrealistic to say we have to, depend on government to do everything. So in this presidential wing, we intend to have toxicology lab that would serve the facility itself, and the toxicology lab should serve the presidents and VIPs of not only Nigeria, but the whole of the subcontinent. As you know, when you get to a certain level, even the food you are to take must be tested.
You know, whatever noise people make about the failure of our public institutions, there are some institutions that, you do actually, have to give, respect to. So I really, personally appreciate what you are doing. But I'm also personally worried that I've seen the expansion going on. I thought that in the last 25 years, the hospital should have actually expanded faster than it has done. But I know that some other parts that are usually in the past, car park and what have you, you've seen new buildings, new departments, is it departments or divisions? Really very proud.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved a 10 billion naira lifeline for the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission, the NBC, and the National Communications Commission, NCC, to advance the full implementation of the digital switch over, that's the DSO, in the country. At a news conference in Abuja, NBC Director General Charles Ebu and NCC Director General Aminu Maida outlined their plans to address the challenges faced by the DSO initiative. They revealed a new strategy focusing on the direct-to-home, the DTH, platform to achieve the project's objectives. The Digital Switch Over project, aimed at transforming the country's broadcast ecosystem in line with global standards, started in 2008 and launched in 2016 by the previous administration. But the project is yet to make the anticipated impact due to the series of operational challenges.
The funds allotted to this project will be meticulously expanded to ensure that each component of the DSO ecosystem contributes significantly to the realization of impactful digital dividends to the country. The key areas for the utilization of this grant include TV channels, which includes managing and developing channels that cater to diverse interests, educational programs, and all of that. There's also satellite capacity, which entails leasing of transponders and establishing a robust satellite backbone to ensure 100% coverage of the nation.
We're approaching it in a different way. So we're going to be working very closely together, obviously led by the NDC, but where we need to provide support and ensure that the communication sector is ready. Because believe me, if we do this right, especially if we get the right content, it is going to lead to a huge explosion in the consumption of data. So the kind of things that the NCC needs to do to provide support is to ensure that as much of that data is moving within the country. So we don't want, yes, it's over the internet, but we don't want that data to go out and come back in. So we have a role there to play in the NCC.
A Nigerian inventor from Ogun State, Adeleye Abimbola, has alleged that the European Patent Office, EPO, has denied him and Nigerian billions of euros in compensation for his invention. In an interview in Abeokuta, Abimbola revealed that the EPO illegally took control of his intellectual property while he was securing a patent and mass-produced his invention without crediting him as the rightful owner. Abimbola highlighted the benefits of his invention for Nigeria and Africa, emphasizing its potential to address climate change and create thousands of jobs. He said he now faces threats and bullying, prompting him to seek federal government's intervention as his plight raises concerns about intellectual property rights and the exploitation of African innovators by foreign entities. Meanwhile, concerned citizens and human rights groups have condemned the alleged EPO's action as dubious and corrupt.
Bring the matter to them again. Why? They are using power. Because they are stronger than me. Because I have no power to fight them. And it is very clear by their documents, they have hijacked and stolen my property, and stolen Nigerian property. And I'm trying to collect it from them, decide to not come to them again. That's bullying. They are trying to use power and whatever you are bullying. So I'm asking for help. Organization that I thank God for Kawi that have decided to assist in this matter. And this matter is not only my matter. This invention is to benefit every Nigerian. They have stolen our property.
He was encouraged by Buhari. But unfortunately, people do not allow it. Do not allow the papers to go to Buhari. Since the time Buhari being here 5 years ago, towards the end of his term, no single paper of Quran got his office. So my dear brothers, we are fighting for the infringement of people.
No fewer than 1,000 women from Jigawa State have received financial support under the Renewed Hope initiative, spearheaded by Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu. The support is aimed at boosting their businesses and, by implication, their living conditions. The report.
The initiative, which is managed at the state level by Hadiza Umar Namadi, wife of the Jigawa State Governor, provided each beneficiary with a grant of 50,000 naira to help boost and sustain local businesses amid the economic challenges many are facing. Governor Namadi's wife explained that the focus on women as the primary beneficiaries was intentional, acknowledging their significant role as the majority of voters and their disproportionate burden from the recent fuel subsidy removal.
The whole idea of Renewed Hope initiative, petty traders, women economic empowerment is that in order for us, especially the First Lady, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Distinguished Senator Oluremi Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for us to give a cushioning effect of the fuel subsidy removal on women, and also to give them a room for them to prosper in their businesses.
As we all know, the government of Jigawa State
under the leadership of Malam Umar Namadi, has various interventions, achievements that will be mentioned here that affect the life of the vulnerable women in the society. Just recently, 12,600 women are going to benefit very soon from empowerment program. The Women's Center in Jigawa State is now as a renewed hope intervention under the leadership of Hajiya Hadiza Umar Namadi.
The Renew Hope initiative, chaired by Senator Oluremi Tinubu and coordinated in Jigawa by Hadiza Umar Namadi, promises continued support for women in the state. 3 women chosen from each of the 287 political wards across the 27 local government areas of Jigawa State benefited from the grant.
In business, Owando PLC has completed the acquisition of Eni's subsidiary, Nigerian Oil Company, NAOC, for $783 million. The company announced this on Thursday in a statement by its Chief Compliance Officer and Company Secretary, Ayotola Jagun. The deal sees Owando, which is listed on the Nigerian Exchange Limited and Johannesburg Stock Exchange, take ownership of 100% of the shareholding interest in NAOC from Italian energy company Eni. Based on the statement, the acquisition increases Owando's current participating interest in OML's 60, 61, 62, and 63 from 20% to 40%. It also increases Owando's ownership stake in all NEPL, NAOC, OOL, joint ventures, assets, and infrastructure, which include 40 discovered oil and gas fields, of which 24 are currently producing, approximately 40 identified prospects and leads, 12 production stations, approximately 1,490 kilometers of pipelines, 3 gas processing plants, the Brass River Oil Terminal, the Kwale Phases 1 and 2 power plants, and associated infrastructure. The transaction is immediately cash generative and is expected to contribute significantly to the company's cash flows. Business owners are optimistic that the conditions for doing business in Nigeria will improve in August 2024 and the following 6 months, the Central Bank of Nigeria has stated. According to the Business Expectations report released by the Apex Bank on Wednesday, business owners expect the businesses to perform better in August with an optimism index of 7.6 points. In the next 3 months, the Apex Bank said the optimism index for businesses was stated and slated at 19.3 points, while the optimism index for the next 6 months was 30.7. It explained that the mining, quarrying, electricity, gas and water supply, agriculture, market services, manufacturing and non-market services will drive optimism in the macroeconomy. In July 2024, the overall confidence index stood at 0.1 points, although it dropped by 3.0 points compared to the confidence levels reached in June 2024. On the international scene, authorities in the Democratic Republic of Congo say the death toll from a riverboat accident in country's western region has risen to at least 29, with at least 128 survivors identified and an unknown number still missing. Rescue efforts have been underway for days after the boat carrying between 250 and 300 passengers overturned on Sunday night when it hit tree trunks underwater in a river in Kutu territory. The incident has been blamed on overloading and navigating at night in contravention of the rules. He said the 29 known fatalities included 15 women and 1 child. The head of a local civil society group, Fidele Lizorengo, said fishermen had seen a further 4 bodies floating in the river but had not been able to rescue them. Lizorengo said 152 survivors had been registered. It is unclear how many people are still missing since the exact number of people on board was not known. Kenya police on Thursday offered a cash reward for information leading to the arrest of a suspected serial killer who escaped from a Nairobi police cell. Police launched a manhunt on Tuesday after Collins Jumaisi, who is accused of murdering and dismembering dozens of women, broke out of a police station in an on-market or upmarket area of the Kenyan capital along with 12 Eritreans. Now, 5 officers who appeared in court on Wednesday on suspicion of aiding Jumaisi's escape have been freed on a 200,000 Kenyan shilling bond, despite prosecutors seeking an order to keep them in custody for 14 days. The 33-year-old Jumaisi, described by police as a vampire psychopath, was arrested last month after the gruesome discovery of a number of mutilated female bodies in a rubbish dump in Mukuru slum area in the Kenyan capital, Nairobi. Police say he has confessed to murdering 42 women over a 2-year period from 2022, with his wife being his first victim, but the suspect has claimed he was tortured after his arrest. Officers said Jumaisi and the other men escaped by cutting through a wire mesh roof where he was being held before scaling a perimeter wall. Let's now join Adeni Ajishafe for sports news update.
The Joint Technical Committee of the 8th edition of National Youth Games tagged Asaba 2024 has approved 36 sports in the upcoming competition, with kickboxing and kung fu ratified for medal scoring. The event, earlier scheduled to commence on 10th of September 2024, has been shifted by a day and will now commence on the 9th of September 2024 and end on the 19th of September. The committee also fixed the age limit of the athletes at under 15. Minister for Sport Development, John Owa Eno, represented by the Director of Grassroots Sport Development in the Ministry, Patrick Okeke, said the adjustment in the date was brought back by 1 day due to governorship elections in Edo State on 24 September, which would lead to a total lockdown and restriction of movement in the state. Eno thanked the Delta State government for its commitment towards cadet sport development, saying the state has shown its readiness to host the rest of Nigeria again. The minister appealed that the little renovation work spotted during the inspection of the various facilities be attended to swiftly to ensure a hitch-free games. Director General of Delta State Sports Commission Festus Ohewero assured of a memorable outing. Ohewero enjoined teams to compete freely and fairly, with no place for H-cheats at the 8th edition of the National Youth Games, which will be held at the Stephen Keshi International Stadium, Asaba. And still on sport, the federal government has announced financial reward for Nigerian Paralympic athletes ahead of the 2024 games scheduled to commence next week. Team Nigerian athletes are currently on a training tour in Germany as part of preparations for the games. Nigeria will participate in 4 sports, namely para-athletics, para-badminton, para-powerlifting, and para-table tennis. Secretary General of the Paralympic Committee of Nigeria, Suleiman Isa, said the Minister of Sport has promised monetary rewards to the athletes in order to boost their morale. The rewards include $15,000 for gold, $10,000 for silver, and $5,000 for bronze medals. Also, the head coach, Nasiru Sule, said the atmosphere is calm and conducive with all the athletes ready to compete at the games. It will be recalled that Team Nigeria para-athletes won 10 medals at the last games held in Tokyo, Japan in 2020. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
And with that, we have come to the end of Trust TV News Hour. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentaries. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.
Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.